talking about the past in coffee, we built Brazil and São Paulo in over slaving people for coffee
Hmm.
for the benefit of a few rich people who actually, right? And that's the bad history behind coffee in Brazil. And it's still on, and it's still on in the world because it's something imposed. It's always imposed by the white.
Hmm.
I'm white, unprivileged, and I
Mm.
know that. But it's always imposed. So this imposition, where are the small producers? Where are the people who are actually working every day, picking their own coffee in this discussion? Where are they? Where were they when they came up with the new flavor wheel, which is beautiful? But the methodology is beautiful, nice. Where were those people? Were they copying the coffees for the flavor wheel to come out? No, they were not. So we're still behaving like colonizers.
Yeah. Colonizers. Yeah.
So we're still colonizing.
Mapper Forward is bringing a new perspective to the Japanese coffee industry with Mapper Forward Japan. Every 2 weeks, we're highlighting a selected series from the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, translated and available in Japanese on our YouTube channel. Follow along on our new Instagram account, Mapper Forward Japan, where we'll share industry commentary, episode clips, and market updates all in Japanese. And if you're in the Japanese coffee industry, join our mailing list for updates and exclusive content, also in Japanese. All the details are at mapperforward.coffee/Japan, and we'd love you to share this information with your Japanese friends in the coffee industry. Check the show notes for details. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is unfortunately the final episode of what is a really, really wonderful conversation with Isabela from Coffee Lab in Brazil. I really wish you guys, we have had 2 podcasts happening all at the same time. We've had the podcast that we've been recording, and then there's the podcast that is happening between each episode. So guys, we set 2 hours to record this every series, right? We are headed towards 4 hours having recorded this. And the conversations between each episode, if ever you get the privilege and the honor of sitting and having a coffee with Isabela, I'm excited for you because you'll get to experience what I got to experience in the discussions between the discussions. And that's a really beautiful thing. So Isabela, thank you very much for what has so far been a very enriching discussion that has allowed us to express how passionate we are about these subjects. And
Thank you.
I hope that more people feel inspired to be this passionate about what they believe in when it comes to coffee, because we have some challenging years ahead, and it's going to need people to be courageous by being passionate, right? So, folks, in this episode, we're actually going to carry on from a conversation that we were having between the episodes. And in this discussion, we're going to talk about how is Brazil redeeming itself from the sins of the past. Now, to fill you in on the context that you need as we start this conversation, Isabela we were talking about Q grading. And Isabela was telling me why she became a Q grader. Okay? And we were talking about what quality is and what quality isn't. You can imagine from the last episode, you got the gist of where that conversation may have gotten. It continued to get passionate. Isabela, why don't you tell people why you became a Q grader?
Because I'm a barista. I was the first champion. And then I'm a woman and I look younger than I am. And then people would love to say that I don't know how to cup coffee. And that was not a good thing for what I am doing professionally.
Mm.
And I know I have a very calibratable nose and mouth. It's easy for me to calibrate.
Yeah.
It has always been since I was born. And then I went to have my Q grading, and then I passed. And then in the calibration, I was the only one to pass. And um, and sometimes I tell that story to tell people that it's why, and that's interesting. I was the only one in the calibration to pass, and I was in the room with very, very good and experienced coppers in Brazil, very much. And I was the only one. I was the only barista, not copper,
Hmm.
in the calibration. My Q I took in Canada, and then why was I the only one to pass? Because I was used to using the cupping form, the Q grader cupping form, always. That was the only one I used so far since the beginning. And
Hmm.
they would be used to cupping with the cup of excellence form. So
Right.
I was more calibrated to the system than they were. Are they better cuppers, or am I better cuppers? No, I was just more calibrated to the system than they were. That's it.
And if you were being tested on the Cup of Excellence form, you would have failed and they would have all passed.
Oh, probably so. Because the cup of excellence, usually when you're scoring the same coffee, the cup of excellence, it gives you naturally 2, 3 more points than the other.
Right.
So I would be always lower in
Right.
scoring.
And so this is where, when we talk about uh, carrying on from talking about quality and talking about redeeming ourselves, you're not getting a Q grading certification because it's actually making you better and it's making the industry better and you're more esteemed against your peers. As you were coming up in Brazil, as I understand it, you needed it for people to take you seriously.
Exactly. That was the only reason, because it was too expensive for me. Our currency towards
Hmm.
dollars is really hard, and it has always been almost. And it was too expensive. That was my reason. I like to have a system. I'm really pragmatic. I love to have a system. And
Hmm.
that system so far served me well, and very well, actually. I feel comfortable using that form.
Right.
And but that's because I need to have a system. And
Right.
that's why I'm so scared to not having that system anymore, but I still can have it. I still can use it. I know that. But what's
Yeah.
happening? Oh Lord.
Well, and this is, I'm a big believer. Like, let's look at the past and see what happened in the past so that we cannot make the same mistakes. And if we look at the sins of the past, as this CVA gets adopted by the BSCA and they've signed the MOU and blah, 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 what do you think the past is going to tell us about this moment with regards to the CVA being adapted in Brazil? Do you think that people will actually use it?
I don't they might. I don't I just I'm curious to see what the cup of excellence will use from now on.
Okay.
I don't. It's hard for me. I didn't take the CVA course, and I don't know about it. And so I'm curious to see if they're going to use and apply the CVA form in the Cup of Excellence competition that is so based in scoring.
Yeah.
Score. I'm curious about it. Really, honestly curious. It's not. There's no sarcasm now. But um, I've been always a little rebel in my life. And talking about the past in coffee, we built Brazil and São Paulo in over slaving people for coffee
Mm-hmm.
for the benefit of a few rich people who actually, right? And that's the bad history behind coffee in Brazil. And it's still on in the world because it's something imposed. It's always imposed by the white.
Mm-hmm.
I'm white, unprivileged, and I
Mm-hmm.
know that. But it's always imposed. So this imposition, where are the small producers? Where are the people who are actually working every day, picking their own coffee in this discussion? Where are they? Where were they when they came up with the new flavor wheel, which is beautiful? But the methodology is beautiful, nice. Where were those people? Were they copying the coffees for the flavor wheel to come out? No, they were not. So we're still behaving like colonizers.
Yeah. Colonizers. Yeah.
So we're still colonizing. We're still colonizing. That's, I mean, how bad can this be? That this is horrible because we're not going to build new ways. The people who have money, they have the power to decide over the lives of hundreds, thousands.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening, and that's my um. I have to be careful. I'm a rebel, and sometimes I have no filter. But I think we need um to look at the fact that the people with money and people who are actually from colonizer cultures, they are still deciding. They're
Mm-hmm.
still setting the way. In Brazil, in many ways, that happens every day. I spent a lot of money on my Q grader because of that. I don't regret. The I think the exercises, they are
Mm-hmm.
challenging for
Mm-hmm.
you to learn about your own sensory skills. It's amazing,
Mm-hmm.
but not the way it's used.
And I think that the way that to add to what you're saying, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, the competition is the one way that we combat this colonization, which is the big problem that people have with this CVA, because it's trying to create a monopoly. It's trying to force a monopoly. It's trying to force you to evaluate quality in one method without you having a say if you agree with that or not. And that's not fair. The one way that we make sure that we participate in the way that we want is to have the courage to make our own choices. If you want to support the CVA, support the CVA. If you believe in it, support it. If you support the CQI, stick with the 2004 form. You're not actually going to get a fine in the mail if you use the 2004 form. And if you think what the SCI is you're doing, do what they like. Or if the Southeast Asian or the ASEAN Coffee Association is doing, if you like what they're doing, do that. But folks, get there quickly, please. Because we've got actual real problems that need to be solved in the industry. I mean, like you were mentioning, we've got slavery still going on farms in Brazil. It serves the purposes of the rich elite that we fucking focus on this instead of seeing the slavery that's going on.
You know what I tell my customers about that? I don't mind if you like phenolic coffee. Go on liking phenolic coffee because you're used to having it, because that's what our coffee, our day-to-day coffee is dairy, phenolic, and burned. I don't mind that. But know that by consuming this kind of coffee, you might be helping slavery and the destruction of the environment. That's what's actually happening. All my talks I'm sorry.
I'm impressed you didn't get a call in 4 hours. Well done. It's
No, because
fine. Go on. It's fine.
that's my husband, and that's the only one that actually.
Anyway, now we know that your husband calls you once every 4 hours. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh my God, let me wait, turn this off.
It's fine. If he
And
calls
then-
again, we can just answer it.
And okay, airplane mode. So what's important for me to make people realize is that, okay, I like acidic coffee, as I was telling you. I like some kinds of coffee personally, and that's I love them. I like floral, I like fruits, I like whatever. I'm not. I don't want people to drink specialty coffee because I want them to like the same kind of coffee that I do. But especially because specialty coffee or quality coffee treats the people and the environment better. And at least the coffee that I buy pays and some others I know pay the producer better. Real for real. It's not like a small premium.
Right.
And the- and of course there are children working in co-ops in Brazil. There are children. There are people that are making nothing to harvest. There are the abuse of the environment in some cups. So if you choose a cup that doesn't do that or does less of that, it's better. That's our talk here in Coffee Lab. That's our main talk. Okay, phenolic is considered a defect. It is so far.
So far. Give me 10 more minutes with you and I'll fix you. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I'm just. Anyway, we had that conversation off air.
Okay.
What are some of the other sins of the past as we look at wrapping up this series? What would you say is the main sin of the past in Brazil?
Of course, it's slavery and how much money and how much we grew based on that. I think this is the worst. And I do think that quality coffee, even if it comes to how we deal with the production of it, is redeeming a little bit. There's no redemption of the history, bad history. There's no such a thing. We have to rewrite, or write a new story or try to walk better ways. And I do believe, I might be naive for that, but I do believe that quality coffee helps doing it.
I agree. I think we just need to figure out what we're basing quality on. And I think that should be a conversation. And I'd love to start the conversation about what I think quality should be focused on. I haven't spoken about that on the podcast. But Isabela did ask me offline and we spoke about it. It would need a whole series for us to talk about it. So I really hope that you will come back again one day and we will have another conversation. This has been truly delightful. We've started a new tradition on this podcast, and it was started by Yozo-san in my series with him that aired before this one. And I asked him a question, and I thought I should ask every guest this question from now on, and I want to. So the question is, what would you want if the future version of yourself comes back and watches this version of you on the podcast? What do you want to tell her? No, let me say it better. Not what do you want to tell her, what do you want her to know?
To know what I want the future is about to know.
If the future Isabela, let's say Isabela in 20 years, right? And she's coming and watching this, and she's watching you.
I would love to know that in 20 years, well, coffee would still exist. That's the obvious. Um, I hate sounding um the white person privileged, but there's no way I'm that, right?
You're white,
But
and you're privileged.
I've been poor, but I was still a privileged white poor person.
Yeah.
I've been through horrible things, but I'm still that. Culturally wise, I'm still that. And things were easier for me because of that to get over and to go on. But I'm a roaster. I have a company. We have great numbers, and that's why I know for sure that we can pay more to the producers, a lot more. And I would love to hear from my future Isabela that the producers are getting way more for their coffees.
I love that idea.
That's the only thing I want, because the rest is so much easier. But people are greedy. Companies are greedy. But look, I have to talk about numbers because they do base my understanding that I can pay 5-4 times C market and still have an EBITDA of 35%. That's what I have now. I still it's possible. And paying all the taxes to the government and paying it all, because I don't hide anything. I pay it all. And we can do that. It's possible. Oh, but you're a small business. No. Wait. If I'm small, it's even harder. The thing is, people are greedy. Companies are greedy.
Large companies are greedy. Medium-sized companies.
Exactly.
Small and medium. Like she's talking corporations.
No. Yeah. Yes, I am. And we know that it is possible for the world. And I'm being completely romantic and naive. It is possible for the producer and the producer of any food be more paid better for what they do, because what they do is simply the most important thing in our lives, in our existence.
Yeah. And our conversation of quality should be focused on similar things around that rewards that. Isabela,
and after our conversation here, I'm going to give so much energy and thought about that.
Inshallah, as we say in Arabic, God willing. Tell people where they can find you online and where they can find out more about Coffee Lab.
Our Instagram account is coffeelab_BR. And I think that's the best. I am in TikTok trying out that thing and feeling ashamed, but okay, why not?
Tell me how that goes for you. I haven't gone anywhere near TikTok.
Every time I post anything, I feel like going under the bed and saying like fetal position.
I love it. Oh, I gotta go. What are you posting? Is it about coffee?
No, it is about coffee mostly. Yeah, but I like cigars. I like flying airplanes. There's yes.
You fly airplanes?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I small planes. Yeah, wow. I love it.
Clearly, we have to get you back on the podcast to talk about more stuff.
But anyway, Instagram is easier. Yeah.
We will have links in the show notes for you all, folks. I hope that you've all enjoyed this series as much as I've enjoyed having this conversation with you, Isabela. Will you do us the honor of signing off our series for us?
Yes. Yes, sure. So thank you for having me. And guys, the only thing I want to wish you now, it's peace, love, and peanut butter.
Have an amazing rest of your day, everyone. Bye. This episode is part of a 5-part series produced by Mapper Forward. Check the full playlist and guest details in the show notes, as well as how you can support our work in the coffee industry. Become a premium YouTube subscriber, explore our Patreon and any brands we've partnered with to bring you this podcast. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help us grow our audience.